From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, June the 19th, 2018. The U.S. peace team has begun their trip to the Middle East. White House Special Advisor Jared Kushner and U.S. Special Representative for International Negotiations Jason Greenblatt met today with King Abdullah II in Amman, Jordan, the first stop on the tour this week, which will also include Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Israel. The trip is said to be focused on the U.S. peace initiative before it is unveiled and the humanitarian situation in Gaza. Yesterday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Abdullah in Amman as well, also to discuss the U.S. peace plan ahead of the American team's visit. This was said to be Netanyahu and Abdullah's first publicly confirmed meeting in 4 years. Netanyahu wrote on social media that during the visit with Jordan's king, he also reiterated Israel's commitment to the status quo at the holy sites like the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Greenblatt praised the Netanyahu-Abdullah sit-down, writing on social media, happy to see King Abdullah and Prime Minister Netanyahu resuming meetings with regard to key issues, very important to both countries and to the entire region. Before leaving on their Middle East trip, Kushner and Greenblatt met with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley, also to talk about peace efforts between Israel and the Palestinians and the situation in Gaza, as well as anti-Israel resolutions at the UN. And by the way, Haley, along with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, is expected to announce today whether the U.S. will in fact withdraw from the UN Human Rights Council. Haley threatened such a move last year, citing the Council's ongoing anti-Israel bias. And Netanyahu today met with the Foreign Affairs and Trade Promotion Minister of Malta in Jerusalem, Carmelo Abela. The two discussed cooperation opportunities and signed an agreement specifically on expanding water cooperation between national water authorities and companies. An Israeli aircraft hit a Hamas terror site in the southern Gaza Strip last night after more incendiary balloons and kites were launched over the Gaza border into Israel. The airstrike last night follows several conducted by Israel's Air Force over the weekend, also to try and deter the flaming and explosive devices, more of which were sent over the border fence today, sparking several fires in southern Israel. A new Holocaust memorial was unveiled on Sunday in southern Poland, remembering the Jews of Kroshenko, who were murdered by the Nazis in the village. Local officials, representatives of Jewish organizations, and the Olympic athlete who spearheaded the memorial were present for the ceremony. 2017 national champion in the canoe-kayak slalom, Darush Papiela, raised $30,000 for the memorial as part of the Shtetl of Tzan's project of the Nomino Rosé Foundation. There was also support from the Jewish Historical Institute Association and the Nissenbaum Family Foundation. Popiela said on Sunday, for many years I trained on the canoe track, not knowing that a few dozen meters away is a collective grave of Kroshenko residents. The new monument bears the names of 246 Jewish victims. And an American teacher was recognized last week for his efforts in memorializing a Holocaust hero. Norman Conrad was presented by the San Francisco-based Taub Philanthropies and Poland's Culture Ministry with the 2018 Irina Sandler Memorial Award. The Kansas teacher was honored for bringing the story of Sandler to the public. In 1999, Conrad and his high school students produced a play about Sandler's life called Life in a Jar. Sandler was a Polish social worker who saved several hundreds of Jewish children from the Warsaw Ghetto. The play has since been performed 375 times around the world and has brought Sandler and her heroism out from obscurity. Conrad is the first American to receive the award. An Israeli medical device won an international challenge geared to fighting terror. Cardioscale Limited beat out 210 other entries from around the world at the 2018 Combating Terrorism Technology Startup Challenge, which was held at Tel Aviv University and organized in partnership with the U.S. Department of Defense's Combating Terrorism Technical Support Office and Israel's Defense Ministry, Defense Research and Development Directorate, as well as with the MIT Enterprise Forum of Israel. CardioScale's device instructs first responders which patients or victims are in the most urgent need of medical attention, based on a medical algorithm without any invasive procedures. Well, there's a new Israeli movie on Netflix. Maktub just made its debut on the media services provider. It's a dark comedy about two gangsters who try and turn their lives around by making the prayers tucked into the Western Wall come true for the Oscars. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, June the 19th at 7 o'clock, CEO of the American Jewish Committee, David Harris, speaks about threats being faced by Israel and the Jewish people. At 8, remarks from culinary journalist, food critic, and television personality Gil Chovav at NYU's Taub Center for Israel Studies. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Joan Benny, the daughter of the late comedian Jack Benny, on L'chaim. At 10, Rabbi Jeffrey Middleman talks about the power of collective memory in both Jewish culture and Jewish history from Limud 2018. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's a look at the latest in fashion in Israel. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, June the 19th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.